Right riches for you. Money come to me with ease, joy, and glory. I'm Shannon apostrophe, and this is Rachael apostrophe. We're starting an apostrophe gang in Access. If you have an apostrophe in your name, we are starting a secret society.
We're opening the secret society to the right riches for you.
The rich apostrophes. Gone are the days when apostrophes, like I was signing up for something today and it wouldn't let me use the apostrophe in my name. Gone are the days of the apostrophes.
We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. So I called you the other day and I asked you about right riches for you and what that was for you and the bringing of it to the world.
Yeah. Rachael is hosting the Right Riches for You Certified Facilitators training this year in Rome. And I am facilitating it. I'm co-facilitating it with David Kubas and Simone Milicis. So there's a little bit of context for you guys, like why was Rachael calling me about it? And we had I thought a really beautiful exchange of energy that I wish we had recorded. But of course, I was out in nature walking and we were just on a WhatsApp call. And so we thought we would see if we can capture some of that energy here for whomever is seeking this possibility in the universe.
Can I say something about when I called you and I said, oh, you're out walking? And you said to me, how did you know that? And so I was looking at this in regard to the world of energy and money. And for me, I grew up around a lot of conflict and money was blamed and poverty and all that stuff. And so one of the things that really impeded my willingness to have money or deal with money was the energetics of what I thought was money that wasn't money. And so you saying to me the other day when I called you and I said, oh, you're out walking, Shannon. And you were like, how did you know that? Again, that's me being around someone who acknowledges that I'm so energetic, because that for me is normal. And that energy in regard to money essentially is what right riches is for me. But I hadn't ever seen people function in regard to money the way that you, Simone, Gary Douglas, your dad, that different, I'm going to call it like, it gave me a self-confidence in myself and my continuous ability to know that I actually could generate and develop something with my own hands. And so that was one of the, I would say that was one of the motivators, or whatever you want to call it, in me being willing to have money.
Cool. Yeah, and we were looking at creating this facilitators training this year and how it's being created. And one of the things that we've been coming up against with Right Riches has been this, when we first announced that Right Riches was sort of getting like repurposed and rebranded, because Right Riches is actually originally a book that Gary authored that was published. Yeah, that would be the original print. Yeah, that's the original cover. Oh, look at all of your tabs. Yeah, exactly, right? So that was made from a class, or I don't know if that book was actually made from the class, but he originally did the first Right Riches class. I would have been like 22. So that was, I don't know, 22 years ago. Oh my God, I did it at the halfway point of my life. So he really like authored the title Right Riches and presented the philosophies and methodologies of the Right Riches body of work. And then a couple of years ago, I kept on being pinged to do like more money classes. And eventually I was like, why don't I just do Right Riches for You? Because everything I've learned about money has come from the Right Riches for You book and curriculum and Gary's body of work. So I talked to him. I was like, hey, like I don't even remember how the conversation started, but I was like, what's going on with Right Riches for You? He's like, nothing. And I was like, can I take it forward? Essentially. So I started facilitating. There was a manual that was created from my body of money work, the Right Riches for You book, and also content from David Kubas, who is another money master, money manipulator master. Anyway, there, we created the manual and we started facilitating the classes, not together, just independently. And I did quite a few Right Riches classes that went really well. And then after about the 12-month mark of Right Riches, the classes started to be of less interest to people, and the classes are smaller. And still to date right now, my Right Riches classes are actually the smallest classes that I put on. And and so the conversation that you and I were having was about creating the Right Riches Certified Facilitators training. And what I was basically aware of is, look, like Right Riches is still actually like a baby. Right Riches for You is actually the form that it's in right now, it's still very young. And I also created and really raised another access specialty called Talk to the Entities. And that took probably 7 to 10 years to really get robust and having a lot of interest in bigger classes and more facilitators and stuff. And one of the things that I was really surprised about with Right Riches was how I noticed that people were coming to the classes wanting a quick fix, like a money quick fix.
Yeah.
Like speed diet. Like, how do I get the perfect body in 30 seconds? And if I can't get it in 30 seconds, then I'm going to give up. It was like this really skewed reality of how money and how we actually change our realities. And Right Riches for You is not a get rich quick scheme. It is a deep fundamental change of your psychological stance that creates the way money shows up in your life. And yeah. And it was sort of like, I thought that everyone would be super excited about that because I'm super excited about that. But I started realizing that a lot of people that were coming to the Right Riches classes actually didn't like money. They were just sort of trying to handle their immediate money situation. But when they found out they actually needed to change their consciousness, they were like, So
there's a line, I'm pretty sure it's in the access reference material, and I remember reading it. It says, hate is the human approximation transferal equivalent. And I was looking at the hatred of money is one of the most broadcasted energies, like on our
planet. Such a popular hatred.
Yeah, it's the thing to hate, you know?
Yeah. Like everybody hates it. And if you hate money, like we're so cool because we hate money. And like, aren't we like in the most righteous poverty club? Because like we don't like money and the people who have money are such fucking assholes. Like, you know,
yeah,
like,
and we're poor because of money and we're poor because of the rich people. And it's all blame. It's all the distractor implants that we talk about: blame, shame, regret, guilt. And it's this collaboration in keeping the vow of poverty in place, you know, instead of receiving the awareness of what is truly actually going on.
Absolutely. And if everybody had ease with money, how much of the structures of this reality could have any power over us, you know? So it's looking at creating like the sort of like the vision statement of Right Riches for You is really like all of money comes to you with ease, joy, and glory. And if all money came to you with ease, joy, and glory, how much would that radically transform your life, your family, the way you interact with reality? If money was no longer a problem, how much, you know, that's big. That's big for you personally, and that's big for society, and that's big for the way energy flows economically. So one of the things that I know that is going on with Right Riches for You is that it's building in its intensity and momentum, and the groundswell is building for Right Riches for You is a transformation of the reality of money.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've noticed about you, and I have it as well, is that you're persistent and you keep going no matter what. And in the How to Become Money workbook, one of my favorite books, if you haven't read this book, it's phenomenal. It says most people like throw their toys out of the pram. He says it in a different way. You go to your emotions, feelings, and thoughts rather than actually what you're capable of becoming, who you are versus who you can become.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And that brings up a lot of energy.
I feel like we're such mature adults. Like we're talking about like who can you become? Like, instead of being reactive, we're like, okay, asking yourself, like, but who can I become? Like, if I didn't have to be in reaction to money, like, what could I choose? Like, doesn't that feel like such a mature place to come from?
It does, and one of the things for me when I was doing all that reaction, and because I was reaction, resistance, alignment, agreement, one of the things that I was never asked until I was what is going to bring about ease for you? What's going to work for you? And what do you require? Because I'd never been asked, what do I require? And Dr. Dane Hare said somewhere, ease comes from being willing to know what you require. And for me, I was like, huh? What do I require?
Let's repeat that. Let's repeat that.
Ease comes from being willing to know what is required.
And I mean, you said like you were in so much reaction and stuff around money. And I mean, unfortunately, most people can relate to that. But it's like, let's face it, like, were you ever taught how to have ease with money? And then to take it a step further, if you were educated for ease with money, how dynamically would that have changed your family, your culture, the way you interact with society, the way you create your life, the way you're part in the local and global economies? Mm-hmm. And so Right Riches for you is it's such a radical change of money reality with the core tenet of ease first. Ease is relevant. And if you're not having ease with money, you're not looking, I hate to say this, you're not being conscious. You're not really being conscious, meaning, is money really hard, or are all the points of view and judgments that you have about money making it hard? And I know when people hear that, they're like, that almost can seem like an impossible dream. It's like, no, it's like, but what's true is that your point of view creates your reality. And that's exactly what you're doing with money too. You're creating your financial reality. So one of the things, like, we're going to keep going, like I'm going to keep plugging away. Like, I was sort of surprised I've been sort of just observing what people choose with Right Riches and what people don't choose with Right Riches, and knowing all along that it doesn't really matter, because what I am aware of is the transformation of reality through a different choice with money.
And this part is huge, because most people are not invited to be autonomous in the way that they shape their reality. Most of us are told to fit in, and if you don't fit in, yeah.
Well, that's the thing with Right Riches. Like, it won't work unless you think for yourself, like, for sure. Because everybody, the thing that I've always found super interesting about money is, like, everybody and their mother and their grandmother and every single person, like every person, has a point of view about money. And they don't just have their own point of view, like, personally and privately. They project and impose their points of view on everybody all the time about money. So being able to look at what's true and real for you about money, and being able to look at what's possible with money for you, even if it isn't possible for others around you, that's a level of free will that, will you choose? That's really that's the call to the Right Riches facilitators. That's the call of a different money reality. And that's, unfortunately, does take a bit of courage and quite some elbow grease to turn that tide, for the points of view and aggression about money can seem very seductively real.
Totally. One of the things, it was you said it actually, about if you don't acknowledge what's going on around you in regard to viewpoints with everything, that you cannot reinforce your own reality. And one of the things that I really have to acknowledge in a moment-to-moment daily basis is when I am happy and when I'm like, money come, money come, money come, money come, money come, money come. And when I'm putting into the world what I'm proud of and what contributes, everything, money comes.
Right. But, and how much of that mechanism works for you? How much does that money come to you because you've done all the work to clear your points of view that reject and repel money from coming to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people have to recognize. People take, it's like, how many of you guys listening to this, like, have points of view that reject and repel money from you? You might have conscious points of view, like money's hard, or if I get too much money, like, what do I have to give in return? Or like, where am I going to be obligated? Or where's like the creepy energy that's coming after this money, like, or, there's so many clear cognitive and direct points of view we have about money that repel and reject money, but then there's all these weird, subtle, twisted, non-verbal energies we have around money that reject and repel money. So you have to clear those, and that's what's so effective about Right Riches for you, is that it's first the detox of money crazy, and then the education of money ease, to put it simply.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and I'm excited. I'm a bit of a freak in that it's 2024 today, and I look at 2044 and I'll be like, will Right Riches be an adult in 2024? Will it be that robust?
wow. If Right Riches for you becomes the popular, prevalent point of view about money, which is all of money comes to me with ease, joy, and glory, if that becomes the prevalent stance about money, what would 2044 be like?
That makes my whole system relax.
Call me a dreamer, call me an idiot, call me whatever you want, but that's what I'm shooting for. And I'm going to keep hitting towards that target. And it's like, how differently would that, the level of social and monetary and economic manipulation that goes on behind the scenes based on money. And if nobody could be controlled by money, and if everybody knew that money came to them with ease, changes governments, changes war structures, the change is so deep into the fabric of our realities. And it has to start with you. And newsflash, it can start with you. Yeah, and it can start with you. Like, I have a completely different financial reality than anybody I know. And I have a completely different financial reality than my husband. So I'm sleeping next to and living with somebody who has a different experience with money. It's like he does not share my financial reality, but I can have my financial reality and have him in my life. And I let him have his financial reality. And we've actually found incredible ways of making that work. So I think the point with that statement is just like, who's your like favorite money crazy representation person? It might be your spouse, it might be your parents, it might be your kids. When we start talking about money, I think everyone listening to this can start to ping onto like how that starts to like really plow into some very thick, slightly unpleasant or extremely unpleasant energies. But that's what you've got to clear first before money can come to you with ease.
And another part of this, I met you in 2012. I did my first talk to the entities in Ireland in a little...
Wow, Rachel, I have not thought about that class. That was in Cork. Oh my God. Cool.
In Wellington Road. And I have watched you build your empire. Like, I have watched you change the tide of money and change the way you flow money into your life. And for me, that's been inspirational to watch someone build that. And so if you can, like, the thing about it is, if you can do it, then any of us that are willing to have that can. That's the thing for me, for someone who didn't fit into the structure, that if this like wild Shannon O'Hara can create that, so can I, you know?
And I love that I made my first fortune teaching classes about ghosts. So especially if I can succeed at that, I mean, come on. Like, I don't know what anyone else's excuse is, because like I can't spell and I talk to entities. So like, if I don't have an excuse, you don't have an excuse.
It wasn't through like a corporate CEO. Like this was like a completely
Exactly.
different energetic.
Completely different path. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that for consciousness to succeed, I had to receive more. And since my primary business model is the facilitation and expansion and growth of consciousness, it's like that my vehicles and products and services of consciousness have to yield big enough to actually have an impact in the world. So that's my monetary motivation. And how does it get any better than that?
Exactly. Yeah. And thank you so much for being willing to hold the baby and develop it and feed it. Because
Absolutely.
for me, that's such a lovely analogy that we can't expect this to be an adult. It has to be fed and grown and, you know.
Exactly. Like Right Riches for you is it's still learning how to stand on 2 feet consistently without being held up. And it is. And it's exciting. So like I know that every single Right Riches for You class that gets facilitated changes some construct and structure of money hatred and money problem. And it might just be a molecule of that structure, and it might be a massive part of that structure. But facilitator by facilitator, process by process, choice by choice, we change reality.
And that's the gold. That for me, that's mining gold when you're showing, when someone can receive that they have that ability and the confidence to actually change it. For me, that's the gold.
I think that's really a testament to the access tools. It's even if you think you're wrong, even if you think you're totally incompetent and a piece of crap, the tool still works. So that's like, it's like consciousness is almost like foolproof.
It doesn't matter like how crap or stupid that you think you are. You use these tools and it works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's possible for Right Riches for you?
And we invite you to Right Riches for You facilitators. We invite you to come in and choose what you would like to create in the world in 2044 and on.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody out there. Love you guys.
Bye.